Hey everybody, welcome to a Tatter-a-fact at the Girlz Ink studio here in Las Vegas. And we are just going to jump right into it because I have a guest that I've been a huge fan, like girl fan, big time. And I'm so excited to have her here. She's a busy girl. She made time to be here. And so please welcome Nicole Mintz. Hi, Nicole.
Hi.
I'm so glad you're here.
Teryn. Excited. I'm excited about this. Um, when you reached out, I was like, huh? Okay. And you was like,
Well,
Nicole, sometimes I think you're kind of shy. I'm like, well, I just gotta be reserved.
yeah.
Um, and I like to watch people before I kind of give them my all.
Oh,
I
so
like to see how people treat others.
yeah, that's important to me too. You know what? And I knew
Yeah.
that about you. We've never met in person. We're finally going to meet in October,
No.
and I can't wait. I already told you, man, I am gonna hug you
Yeah.
so freaking tight. Like I'm a hugger. I'm an affectionate person. So I'm gonna hug you.
I am too.
You are. I'm so excited to meet you. Yeah. I watch people too. I watch people and I listen, and it's very important to me on how people treat others, especially when there's nothing to gain from someone, right? And
Yeah.
and I've watched you for quite some time. I listened to you in clubhouses during COVID when Clubhouse was like a big thing. And I just see you as this
Yeah.
quiet, reserved, but powerful. I see you as powerful, and I see you as a badass, but you're so graceful at the same time. And I love that. I'm really attracted to that when it comes to people, it comes to artists, because a lot of people that are badasses, and outspoken, sometimes they're not so graceful. Sometimes they're dictator,
No.
it's almost like
Yeah.
dictatorship about their opinions. They
Yeah.
want to
They
force
seem
their opinions.
unapproachable.
Yeah, they seem unapproachable, but I just see you as really different.
Yeah.
And so I'm just really excited. I'm just a big fan of yours, and you're mega talented. So,
Oh,
okay.
thank you.
Yeah.
I always looked up
So,
to you, Teryn, so I'm happy to be
oh,
here.
oh, thank you so much. So you also go by like Miss Nicole J. So
Yeah.
does the J stand for Jay?
No,
It doesn't.
no.
I thought it
They
did.
wants he wants to say that the J is for him. He always says, no, that's for me. I'm like, well, no, that is for my middle name, Jay. He's like, well, we're going to change it. But my middle name is Jeannie.
Jeannie. Okay,
So
Nicole Jeannie Mims.
yeah, my name is
Okay.
Miss Nicole Jeannie Min,
All
like a genie
right.
in a bottle.
Okay, I like it.
Yeah,
I like it.
so that's where the J is for. So it's really my name.
All right. So Jay is your husband, in case anybody
Yeah.
doesn't know.
Yes.
And you guys work really closely together. Like he's a part of your business. He's
Yeah.
yeah, he's a big part of your business. You run your business together.
Yeah, he's the back end, but also he's on the side of me working, actually doing procedures. And sometimes people don't know that because Jay don't post as often as I do. So
Right.
sometimes I try to do these collaborations to push him, but Jay is handling the assistants and day-to-day things that I don't want to handle or things that I feel like he's stronger at. So
Right,
I handle
right.
what I'm strong at and I give him what he's strong at. So it works out pretty well for us.
Yeah, it's a great partnership. That's like cat and I,
Yeah.
exactly. And
We're lucky, Terry.
we're very lucky. Do you find, say, with Kat and I, we've been working together, oh, maybe like 13 years now, really super closely. And I
Yeah.
think there were times in our relationship where um, we lost the romance a little bit. And we've talked about this openly on
Yeah.
a podcast, so I'm not saying anything Kat and I haven't talked about openly
Yeah.
because it became so business, right? And we lost the
Mm.
romantic side. We were just business partners. And we both recognized that. And we had to kind of come back together. And because there's so much love there. And I see that with you and Jay.
Yeah.
We had to kind of redefine our romantic relationship versus our business relationship and set like boundaries.
Mm.
Like, so we have date night. And when we do date night, we don't talk business. And I'm wondering if you and Jay kind of ever came to those crossroads in your career.
Um, we have not as much. So a lot of times when we're working together, we're traveling together, we're teaching together. So for us, I like to say, I'm going to go for a walk. I just need air. I need time to myself. And then there's times where I'm like, hey, we need to go for a walk
Yeah.
and do things together. So I think that's kind of how we handle things when because we're together so much. But
Right.
that's how we do it. Like for instance, yesterday, the night before we were up to like 3 in the morning working. And yesterday I was like, let's go for a walk. And we went for a long walk. We went and had a glass of wine, something to eat. But that's how we kind of reconnect with us. And also, we vacation a lot. So we try to shut down on vacation and bring ourselves back together as far as the romance. So we work hard, vacation. But yeah, we go through the same thing.
Yeah, I think it's normal, right? I think it's normal for couples that work
It's
together.
normal.
Yeah, the
It's
lines can
definitely normal.
blur a
No
little
one's
bit.
perfect.
Yeah, no, but I wouldn't have it any other
Definitely.
way. I know you wouldn't either. I know you guys are crazy in love
Yeah.
and super close. He's your best friend, and that's Kat and I. We wouldn't
Yeah.
have it any
Well,
other
Jay
way.
had to bring it. Yeah. Well, Jay had to bring it to my attention that um, I wasn't spending time with him, or he said, just because we're working together and we go home together doesn't mean that you're showing me love. That's
Yeah,
not us talking and communicating about us. So he had to bring that to light with me because I'm like, well, we spend time together all the time. We're together. He's like, no,
yeah. But
not
you're talking
relationship wise.
business. Yeah, but you're
And
talking
yeah,
business and company and
yeah,
client
all the
offices
time.
all the time. And that's kind of like, and
Yeah,
that's happened to Kat and I a couple of times. But
yeah,
I think when you're really a strong couple, you recognize it, and or one or the other recognizes it, or you seem to both recognize it at the same
yeah.
time, and then you just adjust and you fix it, and everything's good.
Hmm.
But so I think we're both
Yeah.
very lucky to
And keep
have,
going.
yeah, we have the love of our lives. Right next to
Yes.
us every step of the way. So it's good. So I really wanted to have you on here to talk about soaking. Some people
Yes.
call it masking, right? And I know there's a third word too, and I can't remember
Hmm.
what it is. Like there's a million words to describe like lots of things in our industry. But so soaking and masking, I think those are the two most popular words. So basically what that
Hmm.
is after you've done a pair of eyebrows, you take the pigment that you used and you spread it over the fresh brow and you let it sit for, a few minutes or a period of time. And that's called masking. So I know that in the industry, there are some people, and this is not by all means a controversial topic. This is just one of those
Hmm.
topics. Does it work? Does it not work? Is it worth it? Is it a waste of time? Um, and so some people have the opinion that soaking does nothing and it's a waste of time and it's ridiculous. And then there's other people that think it is no, it's really valuable, it works, it's important to my
Hmm.
healed result, and then probably everywhere in between. So I know that you have really strong opinions and convictions about soaking, and you are a stellar artist with great results, and you really believe that soaking has a lot to do with your healed and results. So I thought you'd be the perfect person on here
Hmm.
to discuss that, the whys and just your feelings about it. So if there's people on the fence not sure, this will um put them over the fence
Open
one
your
way or the
mind.
other. Open their minds. Yeah. So what are
Yeah.
your thoughts on masking? Talk to
Yeah.
us about masking.
So let's talk about how the pigment is inserted into the skin. No one's really talking about that. So some people think you're shading on the skin and the pigment just goes in there magically. No, the pigment does not go into the skin until the needle is out of the skin. It has to make a hole first, and then the pigment goes into the hole. So they're not thinking, I think, deep enough for this. For instance, if we get a scrape on our leg and we put alcohol on there, it's going to burn because it's still open. We put witch hazel, whatever, it's because the skin is still open. So if the skin is still open after we're shading, there's still room to get more pigment into the hole. And
Mhm.
I think they're just not thinking as deep as I'm kind of thinking of this. Also kind of look up wounds. Like I look at these 3D videos of like wound healing and how the needle goes into the skin. And I'm like, oh, so this, we were thinking about this all wrong. So if your pigment is going into the skin slowly, why don't you just leave the pigment there and let it get into the skin a little bit more? Also, if microbladers are masking at the end to get more pigment in, why we can't do the same when we're using machines? It's the same thing. The skin is still open.
Right, right. And,
So
and
that's
I was
that's what
around,
I think.
that's what you think. So I was around when microblading first hit the scene about 10 years ago. And I remember it was really Daria Chirpus, Daria, who made microblading really popular here in the United States. And of
Mm-hmm.
course, because it was
Yeah.
popular in Europe, and then Daria, made it really popular here in the United States. And then microblading took off, and that was probably 10, 12 years, well, yeah, maybe 10, 12 years ago.
Yeah.
And a lot of
That's the
people
first
were,
person I seen with the sticker.
yeah, yeah. And masking
Daria.
was
Yeah.
super popular back then. And I had long talks
Mm-hmm.
about, that's the first time like we ever really saw masking really in permanent makeup.
Mm-hmm.
That's when I can remember it, is when microblading got popular. And and I never go into anything yes or no. I'm kind of like you. I want to do my research. I want to ask people smarter than me. And I had conversations with like Darlene Story and Mattia, over at LI, about it. And so I was on board with the masking. I felt it was beneficial and it worked and whatnot.
Yeah.
And so in my color theory class, that's kind of, been around for a long time, I actually do a little segment on masking. So I agree with you.
Mm-hmm.
If it was, and it became very acceptable, Nicole. Everybody that not everybody, but a lot of people that microbladed masked, and it was very acceptable
Yes.
in the PMU industry. I
Yes.
don't remember anybody having strong opinions that it wasn't, it was something that didn't work or something that was ridiculous. I don't remember
Yeah.
those
It was like a must
conversations.
thing. You had to do it.
Yeah, so why now with powder brows or ombre brows? I just don't, I'm just wondering, I wonder why now? And maybe it's because
Yeah, they're both
that,
wounds.
yeah, and you know what? And I think maybe what has a lot to do with it is the industry, everybody, a lot of people doing the powder brows and ombres now using single needle, they're newer artists. They were not around 10 years ago when masking was very
Mm-hmm.
popular, first, became in the
Mm-hmm.
industry, and it was very popular and very acceptable, and they weren't around. So maybe that's why, because I think the microblading technique, although very still popular, it's not as popular as it was 10 years ago,
Yeah.
7 years ago, because artists have gotten more versatile, right? Um, so,
Yeah.
maybe that's why they just weren't around. They don't remember those conversations, and I don't know.
Yeah. Also, with instructing, some, you have instructors that don't believe in it, and then they teach the students that, and then the students believe that, and they never do their research, and now they're teaching, and it's just trickling on down. Now everyone
Yeah,
thinks it's no good.
yeah. I think some of the, and correct me if I'm wrong, like if you disagree with me, it's totally okay.
It's fine.
Okay, so some of my things about for a soak to work is the pigment needs to stay wet while it's masking. If the pigment
Yes.
dries,
Yes.
it's not gonna work. So the pigment needs to stay
What is it
wet.
doing? Because it can't run into the hole.
Right, right.
It needs to be wet to get in there.
Right. So that's like number one.
Yeah.
So we both do agree with that. Okay. So number two, I'm not sure if you'll agree with me on this. So
Okay.
I feel that when we're implanting pigment with a machine, and
Mm-hmm.
the pigment's being deposited with the machine, right? And then we
Mm-hmm.
mask. I do feel that masking that pigment, although it soaks in, and I do believe that, I'm not sure if it soaks in at the same depth. I'm wondering, and I'm not like
Mm.
steadfast with that. I would not like argue with you about it, but the way my mind works, that's my question. That's my only question about masking is I wonder if it goes, if the soaking, if the pigment being soaked,
As
does
deep.
it soak in as deep as the pigment that was deposited with the needle? And if I had to
The
guess
first
one way,
one.
right, if I
Yeah.
had to guess, I'd probably say, no, it probably doesn't. It would make scientific sense to me.
Yeah.
I'm kind of analytical that it wouldn't. So, but it does soak
Like
in, but
maybe
probably more
some ink is
shallow.
in the hole. Yeah.
So what are your
Yeah,
thoughts
I
on
can see, I
that?
can understand what you're saying. Um, so I've been looking into how long does it take the skin to heal? Like, how long does it take these cells for your body to recognize there's a wound and they start coming together? So
Right.
that's what I've been researching lately. Like, how long does it take that little puncture hole to heal? So I'm still thinking about that, Teryn, but I understand what you're saying because if there's some pigment already in the hole, is the mask pigment sitting on top a little bit.
Yeah, yeah, I
So
believe it goes in
look,
and
you're
goes,
making me think more.
yeah. But this
Yeah,
would
it's
be an
going in, but
interesting
where?
study, right?
How
It would
deep?
be an interesting study, but like, how would you study that?
Yeah.
But it would be great to study it. So, yeah, now how has masking, why do you mask, Nicole? Do you mask just to get more healed in color? Like, why do you take 15 minutes out of your, why do you mask? What do you feel it does for your healed in work?
I feel like I don't have to go over the brows as much and the saturation that I want and I need for my client. It helps with that. So that means less trauma. I don't have to say, oh, I want the brows 6 times just to get this look. I don't have to do that because I mask in between my passes. So now I could do 2 passes and I could be good, 2.5. But it also depends on the person's skin. So it's not for everyone.
Right.
It's solely not because sometimes you could do it like, whoa, the skin is taking the pigment really fast. I wouldn't mask them because once I mask them, then it might be a different look I didn't want or the client didn't want. Say, for instance, the mature skin clients, um, I won't mask as much. Well, it depends on what look they want because some of them want very soft, some want bold, but they don't understand. I probably masked and gave them a darker look than they intended, but because of that, I mean, I did that because the skin is going to shed, it's going to lighten up, and they don't understand that part, so I always have to push. It's going to lighten up, but yeah, I feel like it's case by case, and I do it so that it's less trauma, so that I won't have to continue to go over those brows. I don't know if you hear this a lot, but in the comments, you may get the same thing. I get ladies and guys asking, "How many passes did you do?" Because I have to do 5 and 6. Like, well, you need to troubleshoot. I mean, a long time ago, I used to do like 4, but I stopped doing that because I started masking way more.
Right.
And also Jay loves to mask because he feel like when he's using a single needle, especially, it's not enough. So he would mask, and sometimes I see him, he go switch to a 3, or he'll get a mask. He'll switch the needle, but I think it helped with my results. I have clients that's constantly coming back and asking for touch up or color boost. I'm like, why are you here? I don't want your money. But because I mask, I feel like with the right pigment, it's helping me. It's helping my clients with better heal results.
Yeah, and I think the longer we can go before refreshes, the better for the skin. Yeah, and
Yeah,
unfortunately, not
it's
everybody
gonna. I don't
feels
like
that
it to
way.
pile up and stick out.
Yeah.
No.
And unfortunately, there
Yeah.
are people in the industry that don't feel this way. They want their clients back once a year, to make that refresh, income
To
or,
make.
yeah. And
Hmm.
I've just never really agreed with that. I think I don't agree with that at all. I think the longer,
Yeah. This is an investment.
right. And you're gonna get
Give
to a
them their
point if
money
you're,
worth.
yeah, Nicole, and especially with some skins, if you're re-tattooing the skin in the same area like once a year, that could be too soon for some skin
Yeah.
types. You're gonna get built up scar tissue, and
Hmm.
then you might get to a point where that
Yeah.
brow can't take color anymore, and not because it's overpacked with pigment, just because it's been traumatized, too many times, too frequently. So we have to keep that in mind. I think some people are under the mindset that they're gonna, if their eyebrows or their eyeliner or their work lasts too long, it's going to affect their income. And I'm living proof that it's just the opposite, because clients, if you have two women sitting in a salon, right? And one client is like, yeah, I go see Teryn or I go see Nicole, and I only have to go every 3 years. My brows last 3 years and they look
Hmm.
fantastic. And then the other lady is like, well, I go to so and so and I got to go once a year. And it's,
Yeah.
the one who's going once a year is going to say, okay, who's your girl? And she's going to, right? Because clients don't want
Yeah.
to go that often. They do want to go get as long as they can out of their brows. So I hear it all
Yeah.
the time from clients. So do you agree?
Yeah. Me as well. Totally agree. I always tell my clients, I'm trying to give you your money worth. I don't need to see you every year. I at one point I thought that until I started seeing my clients come back. I'm like, why are you here? He's like, well, you said to come back. And I have to change my whole website. No, please email me first. Let me let me look at the brows and let me judge them. Because
Yeah,
what you're seeing and what you're thinking, what I probably told you before, is incorrect. And I'm big enough to say I was wrong. That wasn't correct.
yeah,
Everyone's skin is different. Everyone don't need it every year. And it's time for us to be honest with our clients and let them know you don't need it. So
yeah.
now I'm to the point where I'm scaring my clients. So if they send a picture and they constantly ask my assistants for a color boost or a touch up, I'm like, tell them to call. I'll speak to them. And I tell them, your brows are going to look a fat tire under your skin. Do you know what the guys look like when they used to get branded? I tell them that's what their brows are going to look like. And they're like, oh, no, I don't want that. I'm like, well, it's going to look like a keloid on your
Yes,
brow, on your
yeah,
face.
yeah,
And they're like, oh, I didn't know that. I'm like, well, give it another 3 years and call me back.
yeah, yeah. That's excellent.
Yeah. So
We
I'm starting to scare them now.
sometimes you have to, like our clients are so used to
Yeah.
having to come back, every 2.5, 3 years, sometimes 4 years. I would say between
Yeah.
2 and 4 years, depending on the skin type, you
Yeah.
know. But some of them are so obsessed, they want that fresh, healed brow look all the time that they try to get in your
Yeah.
books like sooner than they need to be. So sometimes you have to talk clients back a little bit. And that's what I always say,
Yeah.
it's about the integrity of the skin. You don't want to end up
Yeah.
with a bunch of scar tissue. I mean, then there's
Yeah.
no turning back once you end up with too much scar tissue. So you have to wait.
Yeah.
You got another year out of those before you need me, probably, you know. But
Yeah. They
I
don't
think
understand the scar tissue. Maybe
no,
we need to make videos of what can happen and what it will look like on top of the skin. And I
yes,
like making funny videos. So maybe I'll get some Play-Doh and put it on top of a brow. Like this is what your brow's gonna look like if you keep coming back and you don't need it.
yes, I know. And and it's like, and try that would be funny. That might get the but there needs to be more people talking about this subject, because I think the industry now is an industry that are, super light saturation, uh, very, very shallow in the
Yeah.
skin. And they are taking, I was just talking to an artist from Europe, a big artist over there, and they're sick and tired of their client complaining that it's taken 3, 4 times to get all the color. But
Yeah.
they were saying, but this is what's popular over here. Artists don't mind it. This is what's popular, taken 3 or 4 times to get the brows, the saturation. He goes, but I follow you and some artists over there, and you guys are using bigger needles. You're getting your saturation in 1 and 2 sessions, and I want to learn
Hmm.
that. So I think
Yeah.
there's a big portion of the industry that um, they only use one needle type, a small needle, and they
Hmm.
are going shallow, they are undersaturating. Uh, so the brow looks really pretty when they leave the studio. It's like it's picture worthy. They can post it
Yeah.
and it looks good on Instagram.
Yeah.
Uh, but they're not healing with much color at all. So
Yeah.
I
I
think the
get
industry,
clients showing me that all the time.
yes, yeah, we do too here in Las Vegas, a
I'm
lot,
like, it's not
Nicole.
gonna stay.
Yeah, we have clients
And you're
that,
in heat. You have all these people in heat.
yeah,
Like they don't understand that you need more saturation for your brows to last out there in Vegas.
yeah, I try to tell young artists, look, your brows shouldn't, they need to look too dark when they leave your studio. Now, I know that's not picture
Yeah.
worthy. You don't want to put a picture of a brow that's a little too dark because that could scare a client, but that's just the truth of the matter. Like I
Hmm.
have mastered my eye for saturation. I know how much darker, I know how dark that brow needs to look. So in 7 to 10 days, that brow is that soft, the right amount of saturation and what my client
Hmm.
paid me for. And sometimes I don't post my right afters because they are a little too dark. They do look a little too solid, and
Hmm.
that would scare people.
Scare
But
someone.
yes, it scares someone.
Yeah.
But the healed results are beautiful, absolutely
Yeah.
beautiful. And that brow is going to last 2 to 3 to 4 years, for that client. So I
Yeah.
think the industries, that's kind of where they're at now, is getting that low saturation,
They want the
working
soft
shallow. Yeah.
look. But what they can do also, because I think they're doing it because of social media, because
Yes.
I've done it to scare clients before. Like I tell them, you need more saturation because of your skin type. They're like, no, I want this. And they show me a picture. I'll do it. I'm like, well, you might have to see me more. You want to spend more money. So if they constantly ask me, I would do it just so that I can prove a point. And they come back like, what did I tell you? They were like, you're right, Nicole. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna get a recording of this. I need this video because I told you this the first time. And you know what? I need to start posting some of those because it's good for other people to see when a client understands they need to trust the artist
Yeah.
with their knowledge. You're coming to me for a reason.
Right.
But the other thing I was saying is that if artists want that light, airy look because of social media, show your first or second pass for social media, and then show the rest, show the buildup. You want this or that. Do some case studies where you do it soft on the same skin type and you do it dark on the same skin type, and show the healed results
Yeah.
so that
Yeah.
the clients can understand they need a little bit more pigment.
Yeah. I love that. Like when we do a brow, or I do a
Yeah,
brow and it looks a little too solid, a little too dark, I'll wait for my healed result.
yeah,
Then I'll show both. Like this is what she looked like right after,
yeah.
and this is what she looked like, 4 weeks
Hmm.
healed. So they can see,
Yeah,
But I think a lot of young artists are struggling. We get a lot of emails and a
yeah,
lot of DMs with artists just really struggling. They can't
yeah,
get their pigment to heal in, and they're just struggling with pigment retention. And I just
yeah.
think it's because of what's being taught.
They also letting the clients control the situation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because clients are seeing these light, airy brows, the right afters that look so beautiful, right? They're almost picturesque. There's no pinkness, no trauma to the
Hmm.
skin. And clients are seeing
Yeah.
that, and it's misleading. It's misleading. So clients think that that's what their brows should
Yeah.
look like when they leave, and that's what their brows are going to look like when they're healed. But
When
if
they
they,
heal, yeah.
right. And what clients are finding out is, yeah, that's what it looks like when they're healed. I mean, when they leave, but when they healed, they've lost all that color or a lot of color, and they got to go back. And some of them are having to go
Hmm.
back 3 and 4 times. So
Yeah.
I don't know. So,
I have a client, I actually in Chicago who I did it for free because when I'm doing these studies, I'm going to do it for free. So I did hers and she sent me a picture and she's like, when's my touch up? They're really soft. I'm like, well, I did that on purpose. Like I showed you the picture. Like, oh, okay, when you come back, are you gonna put more? Like, yes, I just needed that, so I could have pictures also for her to explain her healing process and things like that. But I seen pictures, I was like, yeah, I kind of knew that was gonna happen. But they
yeah,
were beautiful on picture and video. They look great. It's a shadow now. It's definitely a shadow.
yeah,
And that's
yeah.
it.
So you do brows. And I know you do
Yeah.
brow tinting too. You really got into the brow tinting. So let me ask you this. I don't see any eyeliner work on your page, Nicole
No,
Ms.
I'm scared,
Why
Teryn.
do,
I see
what
you
do you
just,
mean?
are
Girl,
you going to teach me? I have to come take a class with you.
yeah, you should, because, you know, Because if you're that good at brows, you'd be really good at eyeliner. And eyeliner's like my jam. And I just,
Okay.
more good artists need to be doing eyeliner. And it's so,
Eyeliner.
yeah, it's so beautiful. It complements the whole eye area. It just, to me, it's like a purse and shoes, right? It's like, you know, the
Yeah.
eyebrows and the eyeliner, like the bag and shoes for a woman. It's like, it just goes. It's so pretty.
It
And I
goes
think
together.
it goes together. And it's like once you do someone's brows, 90% of the time they want you to do their eyeliner. And I think some people think eyeliner has to be
Yes.
big and thick and this. It could just be, you know, color in the lash
It's
line.
subtle.
Yeah, it can be subtle for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, I've been really poking at my artist friends this last year. It's like, why are you not doing eyeliner? What's wrong? What are you doing? And they're all like afraid. I'm like, come on, put your big girl panties on
And
and
I
get it
keep
in there.
turning clients down for it, Teryn. Oh my God. They ask me all the time. The most I get asked for it also is my Spanish clients. I don't know if people
Oh,
know this, but I'm half Mexican. I don't even speak Spanish.
no.
My dad is full Mexican. Yeah.
Okay.
And my mom is black, but all
Do
of
you
my
cook?
Spanish clients, Jay, he cooks most of, Jay's Jamaican. He cook a lot, a
All
lot.
right. All right. All
So
right.
I know how to cook. So I'm the
Well,
plater. I make the plates really pretty.
oh, you okay? Yeah. Okay. So, you know,
Yeah,
so the
but my
Hispanic
Spanish clients always
clientele,
ask for eyeliner.
well, they love it. The
Yeah,
Hispanic clientele love their
love
eyeliner
it.
and they like it
Yeah.
dark and bold and striking. They do.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Most of my Hispanic clients, eyeliner clients,
And
they
I
don't
haven't
want,
did it.
yeah, they don't want something dusty and pixely. They want black eyeliner. So yeah, and I think because I'm in Vegas, you know, a super diverse city, you know, the last 22 years, I have like an even amount of like black clients, Hispanic clients, Middle Eastern clients, white clients. I mean, I am super
Yeah.
diverse. All my whole entire career, I've
Yeah.
just been a diverse clientele. Um, and some of them really like that dark, bold black eyeliner look. So I had to get good at that. And
Mm,
I think being a body tattoo artist helped me to achieve high saturation
mm.
eyeliner, you know, in 1 to 2 sessions. So yeah, so yeah, I should like come to Atlanta or Chicago and yeah, you should
Yeah,
book
we
some
should do something
clients.
together.
Yeah, we should. We should. Because
Yeah,
I think that needs to be on your bucket
I'm be
list.
scared. I have a question.
Okay.
So, with the eyeliner, what do you think about the eyeliner? Then the top, I guess it's box, like pixelated.
Yeah. I think it looks beautiful.
What are your thoughts on that?
I think it looks beautiful. And it did the only there's upsides and downsides to everything. The only downside to it is it doesn't last as long
That's what I
as
was wondering.
the high saturation.
Mm,
So I always tell people, look, it's
okay.
really beautiful. And just tell your clients in the lash line and right outside the lash line, like hugging the lashes in the lashes, don't do soft and pixely and dusty. Don't do that. Do black,
Mm,
brown, and do high saturation because that's what makes the give the illusion that the lashes are thick and it can look weird if
yeah.
it heals pixely or dusty in the lash line.
Mm,
We do the lash line so the lash line looks thick and lush and full. But above the lash line, yeah, I mean that dusty pixely look looks beautiful, but
yeah.
it won't last as
But how does it
long.
heal?
It heals well,
I always wonder how does it heal? I haven't
some
seen heal with it.
sometimes it heals really pretty and sometimes it heals gray and it looks like an old faded
Mm,
tattoo to me. So I've seen it heal, look really beautiful. And
mm,
then I've seen it healed where it's just kind of grayish and it looks
mm.
faded. So I think it really depends on like the skill level of the artist and maybe even the
Just,
skin type
mm,
has something to do with it. Yeah.
yeah.
But if it does heal kind
I
of
always looked at it
grayish,
like it's pretty.
yeah, no, it is pretty. It is pretty. I don't
Can you
do
warm it
it.
up?
Um, No, so I think the good fix to that would just to be do it again and
Mm,
more saturation, yeah.
oh, okay. Because
So,
I've seen clients, their lash line looks green.
yes, yeah, yeah. Well, the one thing with eyeliner, you have to saturate. You have to saturate.
Mhm.
You know, and clients definitely don't want to be coming back once a year for eyeliner. No way. You know, they just don't. Um, you might be able to get away with brows with that with clients, but the eyeliner is like a whole different beast. You know, clients really want that to last, especially in the last lash line. But I don't do like single needle around the eye to get my smoky look. I kind of call it smoky. I use a big needle, but I dilute. I'm a dilution girl, so I dilute
Oh,
the pigment. So I get that soft smoky look, and diluted pigment will last as long as full strength pigment. If, because you're putting it in with the same needle and
oh,
everything. And that's kind of the philosophy of body
yeah,
tattooing, right? If you look at black and gray work, like portrait work from a
yeah.
body tattoo artist, they're using
They
full
dilute.
strength. Yeah. And the gray,
Yeah.
the light grays, the dilution grays that they're making, those don't fade out of the skin before the full strength blacks, because they're using the bigger
Yeah.
needles, they're using the same movements, it's just diluted. So it's the same for the eye area. So that's why I prefer just to dilute to get that look, because it's going to age and fade uniformly. So
Mm,
yeah,
yeah, I just learned something today.
yeah, there you go. 25 cents, please.
Okay.
All right. So,
I
okay,
got you in
good.
October.
All right. So Nicole Mims, you heard it here on Tatter-a-fact. She's gonna learn eyeliner. She's gonna learn it. She got eyeliner. We're gonna be looking for that, Nicole. Okay, so before we wrap it up,
Okay.
I just wanted to ask you one more thing. I want to talk about one more thing. The industry. How long you been in the
Yes.
industry?
Been 8 years now.
8 years. Okay, so that's a good long
Yeah.
time. Um, so with the way the industry is now, some people, I go on the Facebook groups and I like to go on the Facebook groups and just kind of read what people are saying. It gives you a good idea of where people's mindset
Hmm.
is and how they're viewing things and things
Yeah.
like that. It kind of gives you a good pulse on the industry. And some people are looking at the PMU industry through, they think it's damaged, it's hurt, it's going in the wrong direction, and then other people don't agree. And I'm just wondering what your thoughts on the industry and where it is today versus where it was when you entered, and where you see it going.
Well, when I first got into permanent makeup, I feel like it was harder to reach other artists, more veterans to help. I still remember reaching out to people, and I still go to those messages. And they still have me on scene, never answered my questions. And some of them I look at now, I'm like, well, they should ask me questions now. Like I've studied so much just from being left on red that it made me a stronger person. But I feel like we do share a lot more now. I feel like some of the classes are like a grab bag class, and the help is not there anymore. I hear that a lot when I'm teaching students. So I feel like there's a shift. There are people falling off. I was just talking to a friend of mine that does phenomenal work, and she don't even want to do brows anymore because she feel like the support is not there, or you have to fight with people that have in class. So I don't know. I feel like the people that are doing a great job need to speak up and maybe um, just push more help out there. I try to put more groups like I have Ombre Artist Support Group. We also have Jay don't want to talk about it. Jay, you want to talk about it? We have a big thing coming up. Jay, could I kind of mention a little bit? He said, "Go ahead." Well, we're trying to put a group of people together to help others. So it just won't fall on us as artists, but it's a group of artists. So I feel like we just all need to come together that, you know, good educators. There are a lot of good educators that's overlooked also, but we need to help each other with helping these people that we think are going in the wrong direction. That's the only way we're going to help our industry is by helping each other.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I've been a mentor my whole career. It just kind of came natural to me. And probably because
Yeah.
I had good mentorship. I had a good, strong mentor um, for my first, 10 years. And I know what that meant to me. She was in my corner. She was there whenever I needed her. She was old school. She was very hard on me and whipped me into shape and didn't let me get away with nothing and and I just learned a lot from her. And I think because I valued her and that mentorship so much, it was just natural for me to assume that role for
Mhm.
others in the industry. And I love it, Nicole. I love helping other artists. Like I love the
Yeah.
industry and I want to see it just stay healthy and just be a
Yeah.
place that clients can
Yeah.
respect and count on and depend on, and that starts with the artist,
Yeah.
right? It starts with the artist. So
Yeah.
I think the industry is just going through a little change. I think bad classes and bad train, that's
Yeah.
been around since the 80s, for Pete's sake. That was around when I
Forever.
was a
Yeah.
young artist. No, we'll never weed all that stuff out, but yeah, the industry's just going through some change right now, but change is uncomfortable sometimes, but change is inevitable too. Do you know? So I think you just
Yeah.
have to kind of look at the good things that come out of change and then, and focus on that. But
Yeah. Also, the instructors that, want to tell younger artists they're doing something wrong, sometimes the delivery is bad. So
yeah,
some people need to work on the delivery instead of saying, oh, because I see it in groups all the time, oh, you shouldn't be doing that. The health department's going to come. How about you inbox them or something? Hey, I have some information for you to help you. You could just take your post down because they are mean in some of these groups.
yes,
So if
yes,
I see things like that, sometimes I'll just inbox the person rather than go back and forth on that post because it don't make the artist feel good. If you know they're doing something wrong, tell them and be nice about it.
yeah,
Be
yeah,
treat people how you want to be treated.
yeah.
Treat others how you want to be treated at all times because it will come back on you. And you never know when you want to need someone.
100%. I do the same thing. I leave Instagram voicemails to people and we private message people. I do that all the time.
All
And
the time. Yeah.
yeah, and people really appreciate it, and some people really, really need it. And like, I don't want to die. I don't want to retire or die with all this knowledge. Like, just
Pass it
within,
on.
yeah, you want to pass it on. And some of the people that
Yeah.
I have passed it on now, I mean, they're in their own studios, they're mentoring, and
Hmm.
they're paying it forward. And when you see that, man, it's just such a beautiful thing. So thank you. So
Yeah.
thank you, Nicole, for being such a, because you're a stand-up human, you're a great artist, and you're an important part of this industry. And I'm probably going to, it's like I've been in the industry a lot longer than you, probably a little older than you. I don't like to keep mentioning retiring because some people think I'm retiring like next year, but because I stopped doing hands-on this year. But I'm not retiring anytime soon. I got a lot of years left. But by the time I do retire, like it will be you and some of the and other artists that are leading the industry in the right direction, right? This industry, it needs leaders. It requires leaders, good leaders,
Yeah.
to lead it in the right direction and mentor and level up. So so when I retire, I feel really good that there's people like you in this industry that will do that. You're doing it now. And
Yeah.
so,
I never
I'm,
seen myself here.
yeah, yeah.
Never thought
So,
I would be. No. I just wanted to help people. That's it.
yeah, I don't think anybody can ever imagine, right? Because I never imagined I would be here. I got into permanent makeup. I was in a dark
Yeah.
place. I just wanted to do art in some form and
Yeah.
be independent in some way. And I just started doing permanent makeup and never could have planned this or organized my career. It was just all, I met Darlene
Yeah.
Story and at LI, and we just became it just all happened so organically, and I met her in an elevator in Philadelphia.
Yeah. I heard your story.
Yeah, I mean, I was using LI for about 6.5 years at that time. And everybody kept emailing LI and saying, yeah, Teryn Darling, sent me over to buy Pigment, Teryn Darling, Teryn Darling. And then I met her in an elevator. I was lecturing. And I go in the elevator, and there's this black woman, and we're standing there, and we're saying hi, hi, hi. And she's like, "Oh, I'm Darlene." I'm like, "Oh, nice to meet you. I'm I'm Teryn." I said Teryn, and she goes, "Teryn Darling." I go, "Yeah." She's like, "I know you," and I'm like, "How you know me?" And she goes, "You send me a lot of business." I go, "I do." She goes, "Yeah, I'm Darlene Story with LI," and I'm like, "Oh my goodness." I got so like I was fangirling. I'm like, "Yes," and she said, "Yes, I do." And I'm like, "Oh my gosh." And then I met her daughter, Mattia, who's a chemist and a biologist, and the rest is history. We've been together 13 years, and they're just
Yeah.
amazing humans. Yeah, so I've learned a lot. Darlene has also become one of my
Yeah.
mentors. Yes, yeah, she's an amazing mentor.
I love the team over there. I love it.
They're fabulous, great humans. So
Yeah. You guys
anyway,
don't know, but I brag about you.
oh, you do? Oh, we appreciate
I
that.
do.
We appreciate that so
I
much.
do.
So much. I appreciate that. All right, Nicole. Well, hey, thank you so much. I think this was great.
Yeah.
I think our listeners are gonna love this. It was fantastic. Fantastic.
Yeah, it
So
was a little are we still recording, but we still can just talk, right?
yeah, so let me say goodbye, and then I'll come back and I'll chat
Oh,
with
it
you.
was a little, yeah.
Okay.
Okay, okay.
All right, everybody, that was Nicole Mins, and you can check her Instagram out. It's Ms Nicole J on Instagram. She owns Savvy Creations, and she's fantastic. And thanks for hanging out with us today. We will see you next time on a Tatter-a-fact.